What's going on, guys? My name is Wonder Wolf, and today we're going to be doing another furry interview. Now, just by looking at the thumbnail, I'm pretty sure some of you or some of y'all might know who that is. And for those who don't know, he's does like a lot of streaming on the Twitch, and I'm gonna say that he has a pretty good, interesting stuff though, pretty chill and whatnot. And I figured, you know what? Why not? It's been a good while since I've done any furry interview, which a lot of you guys seem to actually really like these furry interviews. And yeah, without further ado, I'll let the cute line or the cute bean take over.
Rock and roar, my dudes, gals, and non-binary pals. I am here thanks to the ever so fluffy and wolfy Rollin' Wolf to be interviewed for your listening and viewing pleasures. So let's get right into it, shall we? How did I get introduced to the fandom? Well, that's a good question. Growing up, my family was on the lower end of middle class, so we didn't really have a lot of money, usually at the end of the month, after bills and all that fun adult stuff, to really do much exciting excursions. Occasionally we'd go to a movie, or maybe bring in some takeout and rent a movie and sit in and play board games, but often my father was traveling a lot for work, and my mother was working and getting her master's degree in teaching, so I had to spend a lot of my time creating my own worlds inside my head. A lot of imagination, which is sorely lacking nowadays, but I got heavily invested into video games and the worlds built by C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien, and just creating my own characters. And I was very fortunate when I was growing up to have a very big backyard and a large swing set. So when my friends came over, we would spend a lot of time outdoors, kind of, for lack of a better word, playing D&D, as it were, creating our own worlds, our own characters, our own stories, often involving these characters that I was fascinated with from these already pre-existing worlds. And after my grandfather died, I was really trying to search on the web to see if I could find anybody who would be interested in kind of continuing these stories and these legacies that I had created. And as it turns out, I just, like Alice in Wonderland, I fell down the rabbit hole finding all these people who had these amazing stories to tell and these creatures they created, big and small, of all kinds, including kinds that I never thought existed. And I was just fascinated by the creativity and the immense passion everybody had in this wonderful community, and how welcoming they were to have me join them and be a part of it. And it was life-changing for sure. Who inspired me to make content? As far as my streams and such is concerned, or furry content, I wasn't really inspired by anyone in particular. Not to say that there aren't talented people out there that I don't admire, but I did it mainly out of necessity more than anything else. Now, what I mean by that is I suffer from depression, and most of my content came out of trying to find a healthy and kind of meaningful way to cope with those emotions, rather than dive into something that would just spiral into complete chaos. I've always been of the creative mind rather than the mathematical mind. There's two sides to your brain, and one side I can paint you a vivid landscape. The other side, if you ask me to add two and two together, I have to stumble through my pockets and pick out my calculator. That's just the kind of person I am. But I've always been interested in creating content, making people laugh, making people energized, and really feel something. I feel like there's a lot can be conveyed in simple, artistic things that just get so easily overlooked by a majority of people when we're living such busy lifestyles. I grew up in a very musical family, so I've always been into music and both vocals and guitar and writing. I've always done writing. I've always loved sitting down, and when there was writing assignment in school, I would just spend so much more time other than everybody else in the class creating worlds and characters, and that really came in handy when finding this beautiful fandom that I could expand on that and create these stories that other people would enjoy. Just with less humans, more animals. Not a bad thing. More lions, most definitely. Describe your fursona or character. Well, my fursona is a lion, clearly. I never started out as a lion. In fact, I started off as a wolf. I always found that my family, my support, were very close. We were very tight-knit, and I was very influenced and raised by my grandfather and my uncle, who were very structured. And so I figured, well, I guess, a wolf and the pack mentality would just be me. And the older you get, things do change. A lot of people do change their species, and that's fine. You grow, you evolve, and sometimes it means changing your fur from your spots, your stripes, whatever you got. Long story short, I ended up a few years or so later on Lion. I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to break out of my comfort zone. I was very introverted and very sheltered as a child, and so I figured, well, what would be a great way of breaking down those walls? So my first thought was, well, certainly putting on a tie, because I hate dressing up. So if I find myself comfortable, it's in jeans and a t-shirt. And I said, well, Lakota's going to have a nice suit and a nice tie and vest. Oh, look how proper I am. And it evolved from there, as silly as it is. It evolved from just, well, let's push yourself out of your comfort zone even further. What mannerisms would you do? What foods would you do? Where would he live? What would he say? And as it just so happened to be, the more I pushed myself to becoming this character, or designing this character per se, the more I ended up becoming him. So the walls between what I could be and what I am slowly came down into just being kind of all one and together the same, and it really helped me grow as a person creating Lakota. What's your favorite memory of your first year as a furry? That is a good question. I can't really say. I've been around this wonderful fandom for years now. Not that I'm old. Don't say I'm old. I'm not old. My back doesn't hurt at all. I would say probably the earlier cons are my favorite memories. Getting to meet friends in person that I've never seen, and just going out and having drinks and dinner and, laughing and panels. I guess if I had to choose one memory, though, going to one of my first cons, I remember experiencing the dealer's den for the first time at this con. And I know it's one of those things that people often overlook, but I was just blown away by everybody telling me, oh, you've got to go to the dealer's den. They've got all these different artists and vendors. And I was thinking, oh, what could it possibly be? And I remember walking out of there going, first of all, I didn't bring enough money, because I was blown away. Like, I wanted to go back in. I wanted to go to the ATM and take out every single dollar I had, because there were t-shirts and music and art. And it just blew my mind that I was in a place with so much creativity and passion for what anything you wanted to do, you could create it, you could build it, and people were there and just loving every moment of it. And I was just floored. I said, if this is what it means to be a furry, I can't get enough of this. This is beautiful. What does furry mean to me? That is a good question. I feel like furry means a lot of things to different people, and depending on who you ask, you may get different answers. And I'm finding that the older I get too, the answer is always ever so tweaking and evolving. And not to say that's a bad thing. I find that the older you get, there's many things that life changes for you. Some for the better, some not so much. But as far as furry goes, I feel like it's just a place of belonging. It's a place to grow. It's a place to find yourself. There are no limitations except what you create for yourself. You can, if you want to be an artist, if you want to be a musician, a writer, a gamer, a streamer, whatever you want to do, there is a community out there that is ready and willing to push you to be the best person you can be doing that. and to have a support group that is unlike any other you will ever find in this world. Whether you are gay or straight or any color under the sun, there is absolutely room and love in everyone's hearts to welcome you and push you to be the best person that you can possibly be. And I know there are many times when I lost my support group, and these fuzzy characters were always there for me. Friends that have stood the test of time. I've got memories and stories that I could tell for hours on end that just make me laugh when everything else in this world is collapsing. And that is what it means to be a furry. To be just a part of this wonderful world where your characters become you and you become your characters. Whether you see it or not, you are someone's inspiration and someone can inspire you, and everybody is welcome. And I hope that you never lose that fire, because there are some things in this world that you just don't want to give up, and this is absolutely one of them. I will be a furry until my mane falls off. But again, I want to thank Roland Wolf for having me along. This has been a fun little project. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And to everyone watching, thank you for having me. My dudes, gals, non-binary pals, take it easy and rock and roar.
It looks like a very good answer they give me. And for those who like interesting, if any of you guys want to check him out, feel free to do so. If you like what he does and his posts and his content, show him some love, give him a follow, or support him. Basically show him some love. And yeah, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and comment ideas for the next video, and subscribe to join my furry journey. Stay free, my friends, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye! Oh. Boop!